Brandon from Watches on You. We're back here at Wixon Jewelers reviewing another very special watch. This is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Duometre Chronograph. Now there are a lot of very special aspects of this watch, so let's go down to the inspection pad and we'll take a closer look at it. So now let's take a closer look at the Duometre Chronograph. So starting off with the case, this version comes in a pink gold. Now that looks really, really elegant on the wrist. It looks kind of like a rose gold, but it's a little bit, as you can probably tell by the title, it's a little bit more pinkish. It's still pretty light. It's not as defined as the rose golds of other brands, so it's not quite that flashy. Moving on to the dial here, you can see it has 3 subdials and then 2 seconds hands on the center stock. Now, this is because this watch has a chronograph feature, so the way you tell which hand is for which function, normal, time, or chronograph, is based on its color. So the blue hand is for the chronograph. Blue hands are for the chronograph, and then the gold hands are for the time, just normal time, running time. And this is very similar to the IWC Portuguese, where it had that same thing where the blue hands were for the chronograph and the gold hands were for the normal time. And I think this is a really nice feature because it makes it easy to use the chronograph and to tell which hands you need to be using for whatever you're trying to do. So moving into some of the more unique features of the dial, it has the running seconds. It's 1/6 of a second indicator at the bottom here. So as you can see, that jumps, and that moves with the chronograph because it's got that blue hand. And then it also has 2 power reserve indicators. One of these is for the chronograph function, and then one of these is for the just running time. Now this plays into the whole duometer concept where you have 2 separate barrels for each different function. And so actually that brings me to my next subject, which is the movement. Now this has a caliber 380 movement. So as you can see the 2 barrels right here, and as I wind, if you wind one way, it charges the barrel for the chronograph function and the other way for the running time. With regards to the overall finishing of the movement, it is absolutely fantastic. It's comparable to an A. Lange & Söhne, which is perhaps the best finish. They make the best finish movements, I would say, out of any watch, and this is, again, basically the same as the best A. Lange & Söhne. JLC did a really, really good job. And as you can see, it has a little yellow tinge, which is from the oxidation of the German silver, which is what it is made of. And again, that actually also is in common with A. Lange & Söhne because they use German silver for their movements too. And this is interesting because it'll actually change over time. It'll become more yellow over time. So like right when they made this movement, it would have been more silver in color. This movement has a 50-hour power reserve per function, which is, I'd say, a very, very good power reserve because it is over 2 days, and that's kind of my benchmark for whether a watch has enough power. So you can not wear it for 2 days and you still will be fine. So let's move on to a wrist shot of this watch. Nope. All right, so as you can see, it looks quite sizable on the wrist, although it's only a 42mm movement. But I guess in person, you probably can't tell from camera. On the camera, I'd say it looks much bigger than it does in real life. But that's probably because of the white on the dial. It's just kind of making it look different. This watch comes on a very, very nice alligator strap with not a deployment buckle, just a normal buckle, which I really like. I'm not a big fan of deployment buckles. They're a little bit difficult to operate sometimes, and they kind of feel like they're gonna fall off. But I really, really like this. It keeps it on your wrist very secure, and it's a very expensive watch, so that's a good thing. Overall, this is a very, very high quality watch with a lot of interesting complications and features. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share.